Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Hall of Game here at JoyClicks. This is the third Hall of Game ceremony of 2022, year 2, the class of 2022. I think I already said that. But there are 4 games in the Hall of Game currently, and tonight we are here to induct 2 more into this year's class. My name is Christian Buckley. We will do introductions starting on my left because Discord smacked me in the middle. Mike Connors, how are you doing? Mike, I think you're muted.
Oh, I was gonna be like, wait, who's
My bad, guys.
Who's gonna say?
Sorry.
I was like, what did I do wrong?
No, that was totally my bad.
Okay.
Anyways, I was saying that I'm really excited to induct the first class of the 2022 Hall of Game. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. To my right, Jack Martin, how are you?
Hello, doing well. It's always nice and exciting to be here. It's always a big momentous occasion. We gotta dress up one of these days.
Oh yeah,
That'd be fun.
Let's
Just
do
bring
for
really
Game
dumb
Awards.
games.
I just got a new
Ooh,
suit,
yeah.
so I'm ready.
Really?
Let's do
okay.
it.
Yeah.
I don't think I have the suit.
I definitely
I
don't.
I can rent one though.
Yeah.
I could buy one.
Yeah.
Did you know that you can rent suits? I just learned that like this year.
I can rent them.
Yeah. Like you can go
Still?
and, like legit. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it was for a wedding, so I mean, you know,
Yeah, big for
there's
weddings.
that. Yeah, but
Yeah, I don't know how Arizona works.
I didn't get married though.
No, I was gonna say, did you have a prom?
Yeah. Yo, it's not like.
Have you ever heard of
what time
prom,
Christian was?
Christian?
This time like, hey, like, what time Christian was like, hey, like, you know, when it's like really hot, right? Does it feel like Tatooine? You know, like, that's yes, but like, yes, we also have problems.
Because I mean, like, I rented a suit in high school, man. Like,
Yeah, wait, I'm pretty sure I bought my high school one.
okay.
I think I did. I don't know.
Okay.
There was a sale, like a 2-for-1 type thing for the prom season.
I
You know,
got you.
so-
Well, the suit buyer, Kevin Diaz, is here. How are you doing?
former suit buyer. Now I rent.
Now you
I'm
rent.
saying,
That's
but
correct.
Doing good. Chilling, hanging out. You know.
Nice. And rounding out
Nice
the
and
order for the hall, Omar
The
Nakri.
order. What? Hello. I'm here.
Yeah,
Thank you
dude.
for having me.
Of
I'm
course.
excited. I'm trying to bring the heat today. I feel like I haven't really brought the heat since the Wii Sports thing, but today I'm gonna try and bring the heat.
Very
I hope
nice.
it works.
Switch sports.
Switch Sports.
No, Switch Sports does not belong in this hall. We have Wii
They
Sports
don't even
in
have
the
golf.
hall.
That was on my fantasy critic this year and just utterly disappointed me with like.
This
2
is like a
points.
70. Okay.
It's a 72.
Yeah,
Damn.
So
that's rough. Well, there are 4 games in the hall this year. We're getting back to it tonight to induct 2 more. Does anybody know and remember the 4 games that are in for 2022 so far? Just shout them out.
Returnal, Burnout, Revenge,
Bet.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
solid.
Metal Gear, yep.
Pokemon Red. Was that
Pokemon
this
Red and
one?
Blue, yes. So that is this year's lineup so far. Like I said tonight, we're inducting 2. How that works is each member of the order has a 6-minute time allotment to give a presentation however they see fit. Vocally, slideshow, audio, performative dance, whatever you want to do. That is how you can make your case. If it's a game you believe in, you got to give it a good shot and sell all of us. After the presentation, 5 minutes. No, we got rid of the time limit. A Q&A portion where we talk through the game. There's a lot of really good games that have to, be talked about poorly just so we can like get a good judge. Maybe it's not necessarily something we believe in, but if there's a popular critique about a game, bring it up so we can at least address it. And then once all of that is done, once every game has been presented, we are going to go solo, one at a time, Survivor style, or Big Brother. If you watch Big Brother, I never watched Survivor. Directly to the camera, we will be awarding 3 games points. We have a 1-point value to give a game, a 3-point value to give a game, and a 5-point value to give a game. 5, of course, being the game that we want to get in the most, the one that we think gave the best presentation, and then scaling down from there. At the end of the night, the 2 games that have the most votes win in the event of a tie. If one game had more people voting for it, that is the game that will get in over the point value. What else is there? You can only bring a game once. So every game that we bring individually tonight, we cannot bring in the future if it does not get in. Games that have been brought in the past are fair game for other contestants, other members of the order to induct. I think that is everything. Did I miss anything?
I think you got it.
Good.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah, you fucking nailed it.
Thank you.
Good shit, bro.
Thank you.
I thought about doing a performative dance before I changed my game. Maybe next time.
You kind of did for Fortnite.
Oh my god, I so did. Well,
That was an avant-garde presentation.
yeah, that was crazy.
So, the wheel has been spun. It's spinning still. First up to present tonight is Kevin Diaz.
Let's fucking go.
Congratulations. The wheel's giving you a bunch of confetti. So, I will pull up a timer for 6 minutes. I will highlight you for the stream. And would you like a warning, like a 3-minute warning, whatever warning?
Yeah.
Halfway and then a minute? You want that?
We could do, we do halfway to the 1 minute. Yeah.
Okay. Whenever you begin, I will start the timer.
A few holiday games ago, right? I did a similar, not similar, excuse me, the same franchise sequel at that, and just failed horribly. You really hate to see it. Great game, but with the season coming on, we got some snow on the ground, right? We got a particular event coming. It's time to bring in the Big Daddy, okay? And by Big Daddy, I mean Big Daddy Kratos God of War 2018. I did turn off my camera because I was gonna do a whoosh, it flung to me, this axe flung to me. I put magnets in it, you know what I'm saying? Like Iron Man, that one movie. Yeah. God of War 2018, right? There's been a lot said about this. We've all played it here. We all know what's up, right? A lot of people would say that is one of their favorite games of all time, the greatest games of all time. I say definitely the best first party on PS4, period, of that generation. And there's just a lot that you can say about it. I'll speak to me personally. It was my third God of War game. I played the 2 PSP games first and then played God of War 2018. And this game got me to go back and play the other God of Wars as well, leading up until actually I did it during 2020. Played through all the God of Wars after 2018 and then replayed 2018 again. And I'm gonna start tonight my next playthrough of it as well. And it's just a game that is a lot more than what it used to be, right? I think this is the magnum opus, if you will, of the God of War franchise. It's the one that elevates it to new heights, elevates it to things that we haven't seen before in the franchise and in gaming as a whole in a lot of different ways. So we all have a story about God of War 2018, right? But I think one of the most prolific that I have is, you can talk about the cracks in God of War in terms of its quick travel system isn't the great, right? Not very quick. I think the menus are a little bit cluttered and muggy. Those aren't really well done. I feel like a lot of God of War 2018 misses on some of the things that, help it be a game in the more just mechanical, just menu based stuff and everything. But for me, it ties back to the story of God of War 2018 of a god coming from another land, and he's lived this, decade or so life apart from the events of God of War 3 and everything that came from his past and the past games and everything. And, you know, what I love about the game's design and the game's combat and the game as a whole is that it sets itself apart so drastically from its original counterparts of being more of a hack and slash, DMC like original release of those games from God of War 1, 2, 3, and Ascension and the PSP games, Change of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta. And then we get into this more third person, character focused, camera focused. Damn, character focused. Okay. Like overall, combat system that, is meant to bring in the brutality to a closer field of view, right? And you're able to, learn things like how the Leviathan Axe works and all that. And above all else, like with me, I really love this gameplay. I think this gameplay is spot on. One of the best gameplays, that I played for sure in terms of like an action game and all that. And there's so much to explore in that world in terms of the different realms that you go to and the different Valkyrie queens that you get to fight later on in the game, in the post game mainly. And above all else, why God of War 2018, I feel like definitely belongs in the Hall of Game. Aside from, its accolades that it's won already, is that it's a story about a father and a son. And that's something that I talk a lot about in my review, where it's like you have a very simple mission that is to deliver your wife's ashes, Atreus' mother's ashes, to the top of Muspelheim, right? Muspelheim? The land of the giants. Jotunheim. So that's the objective, right? But you learn through the lore, learn through the side stuff, learn through all the context clues and everything that comes to pass. And mainly at the end of that story, that this was all set in motion through Faye herself, through the wife of Kratos, the mother of Atreus, so that these two might grow together more closer to something that's more akin to a father and a son dynamic and relationship, right? And now they'll have to take on Ragnarok in this next game next month. But I just think God of War 2018 brought the heart into God of War that was missing for a very long time. And you get to see the wounds of Kratos' past catch up to him in some literal ways and some ways that a little bit more settle down, right? And you get to see how he wrestles with them from a more emotional standpoint, and that's just why it's just one of my favorite games of all time. So, it's got great gameplay. It looks incredible on PS4. It runs great on PS5 now with that 60 frames patch and such. And it's just a remarkable game that is one of those that will stand the test of time. I feel like it will be a game that we talk about when we're all old, and we'll all remember our journey to Jotunheim with Atreus, and hopefully we'll also remember us dealing with Ragnarok. So, God of War 2018.
Almost exactly on time. 5 seconds left.
Yes, sir.
Well done.
Woo!
You already know.
How'd you get that axe? Is it from a collector's edition thing, or is it like?
No, my brother got it for me for my birthday. No,
cool.
for Christmas last year.
Wow.
And it's like hard foam. It's like a very, very hard like rubber foam type thing. Yeah.
How did he
You're not
wrap
gonna
it?
cut down a tree with that.
Was it in a box? How did he wrap it?
Yeah, just like a big ass box. It wasn't like just like a huge box. Yeah, like a thin box.
I was expecting like the broomstick from Harry Potter, and then be like, "What is in here?"
Yeah.
You could never know.
All right. Anybody who has questions for Kevin, start whenever. No time limit.
Does the PC port sully this great game?
Does it sully it? No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it definitely heightens it, for that, PC crowd, I'm saying, yeah.
That's facts.
It's there's a lot of good stuff in there, I'm saying? Like
I just feel like it devalued my console a little bit.
hey man, but I got to play it a little bit early, you know what I'm saying? And
That's
like,
true. That's true.
some of that investment funneled into, Santa Monica to bring us Ragnarok and such, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, man. It's all good, but you know what I'm saying? It's all good, man. It's all good. Ultra wide, you know.
Pretty nice.
Indeed. Indeed. Boy. Any other questions, gentlemen? I'm shocked it didn't say boy throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
We weren't talking about Red Dead.
Easy shot.
I think one of the big, weaknesses of this game, in my opinion, is its enemy variety, in that there's not much, and out of like the three main types of enemies I can remember, like the Draugr, the elves, and then the giant things, the trolls or whatever, one of those really suck, and it's the dark elves. So do you think that the pool of enemies being small, and then one of them like actively being, to me at least, I don't know how you feel, very
That's
much
the
not
ones
fun
where,
to
like,
fight.
You like gotta be good at parrying, right? Because
They fly up, they
Yeah.
blind you, like all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Like they're
Definitely.
bad, and then the Draugr are kind of boring. Do you think that that's a detractor from the game?
Not necessarily, but I will add that like that's a fair critique of God of War 2018 for sure. Like, and that's one that I didn't mention, but like you were talking about more just like more just enemies that you're more prone to encounter throughout your playthrough, right? For me, it's honestly the boss variation. Like I feel like there isn't a lot of great bosses in that game. Like there's a few that stand out, like the dragon, right? And there'll be highlights, but like overall, like I feel like the bosses is what's I think more speaking to me in terms of enemy variety type, but they're all enemies, so yeah, and like that don't really have a great defense on that. That's just a hey, I would put that amongst the list of like quick travel not being quick, the menu system being really just cluttered and like kind of just annoying to handle and mess with and all that. But yeah, we can lump enemies in there. Just a fair criticism for sure of God of War 2018. But I still think that like above all else, once you master that game's combat, I feel like the real satisfaction of it is handling that combat and how you use the Leviathan axe, and spoilers for 2018, my bad. How you handle the Blaze of Chaos and stuff like that, and how once you get the Blaze of Chaos, you're able to interface with enemies that you already encountered in a much better way with the blades, mainly those ice enemies as well and stuff like that. So, and those enemies that are like at like a distance and stuff. So, there is that, but above all else, like there really is no defense to the lack of enemy variety for sure.
Do you think this is pretty different than the old ones? I never played the
Indeed.
old ones. Do you think that was a
You
good
never played the old
direction?
ones?
No,
Oh,
I won't.
man.
I was going to, but I won't.
I think you should, but like, I really think you should.
Yeah, Justice for
It's good
God of War
stuff. It's
2,
good
Kevin.
stuff.
I'm with you on that. Stuff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, skip the first one. All right, as long as you know, hey, Ares may deal with Kratos. Kratos kills his wife and daughter. That's it.
Yeah,
You're fine. You're fine.
I watched.
He's mad.
I watched enough YouTube videos. I think I'm fine.
That's
but
fair. That's fair.
my question is, do you think it was a good direction to sort of reboot in a sense and develop a new formula that seemingly Ragnarok is going to follow?
Yeah, definitely a ballsy move, right? And I'm sure we've all seen the documentary where like Shuhei, was in like I think like a milestone meeting with Sony with Santa Monica, and he walked out of the room when they were showing off God of War 2018 and its early days and stuff like that. So like definitely like there was a lot of pressure on the line, and like we can talk a lot about how Santa Monica had a whole nother game that was 2 years into development, that sci-fi game that got canceled and millions of dollars got wasted and all that in that project, and they decided to go back to God of War and everything. But I think to give a little credence, what I'm saying, to a game that I have not played yet. And hopefully we'll get to in the future. We'll see. But like, I think, you have combat systems like Bloodborne, right? That like kind of paved the way for more of a like third person, action style from a grand standpoint, right? Obviously, that's not like the biggest one, and that was in 2015. This came out 2018, so it might not be a direct, one to one, like, oh, this is the inspiration, but I think you could see like the trend during that time, during the PS4 gen, that there was kind of a more wantingness to do like a third person action style that relied more on like a third person perspective and view that wasn't so top down, right? And like yeah, I do feel like ultimately like it was definitely a risk for sure. But I think if we can see any payoff, it was God of War 2018. Like I think that definitely paid off. And like even with the Blades of Chaos, you can do the same combos with the same button inputs that you could in the old games, right? And that's more so seen in the Blades of Chaos because he didn't have the axe in the old games, right? But like you're doing very similar combos, right? And they're almost the same in like a lot of different ways in this new game. And so just the way that they were able to adapt that old style, right, and blend it with this new perspective and everything, I think it definitely worked out. So, and I think I don't know if I would have loved to have seen the God of War 2018 that kept that perspective. I would have loved to have seen that, right? And I bet there's a prototype somewhere, right? But like, I think them choosing to evolve that, I think was the right move, for sure.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes, sir.
I think you're right. Bloodborne was too recent, maybe, for them to get influence for it.
Perhaps
For God of War.
I'm sure there's.
But you know
another,
what wasn't?
Yeah. What's up? What's up?
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta. You know what I'm saying? I gotta.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
This
saying?
game was totally influenced by that, right? Okay.
Anyone?
No, it was. It was.
I
for
can't-
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
It
Okay.
right.
absolutely was. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. Look at me. The very rare Dark Souls praise. Look at that. Look at that.
Let's
Christian
go.
Mel in it. Don't forget this, Christian. Don't forget this. All right. When you get to voting,
Yes, I remember that.
You know what I'm saying? Make sure. Make sure. You know what I'm saying?
I know you can't compare it to something like any of the From games, right? But you've played a lot of other action games before. Like you played
Indeed.
some of the Devil May Cry's and
Yes, I have.
Vanquish.
Devil May Cry 5.
stuff like that.
Yep. Vanquish. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Vanquish, let's go.
Do
Good stuff.
you feel like the combat is like varied enough beyond just like the two weapons that like you don't find yourself like falling into a rut of like a specific move or specific power that clears most of the enemies, or do you feel like the game provides a lot of opportunities where you have to change up how you're playing it? Because like you can like you can play the game pretty varied, but do you feel like there's any specific bosses or enemies or encounters where you feel really pressed and you really have to like move beyond just slash charge R2, take out their shoulder? Like, do you think the game is like throws challenges beyond that at you enough or at all?
Yeah, I feel like that's more of like a instance case in terms of like the encounter that you may not be prepared for or like may not be expecting gets spruce on you. And you're right in the sense that like there is definitely a combat variety. Like if you look on YouTube, like, and you search up like, crazy like God of War 2018 like gameplay and like the combos that they're doing and the rune combinations that the game allows you to have and everything, like you can play that game very differently. and like there's a lot more variety than like it might lead you on to believe, right? But from just like a normal gamer perspective, right? Like if you're not really looking to do any of that flashy combat, right, that may help you a lot in combat, right, and you just want to get the job done on just get the job done on normal mode. I think there's something to be said for that for sure, that like God of War perhaps like doesn't require you to do the most flashiest of things, but there's also an angle to that where that could be to its benefit, where it's a very much more of an approachable, accessible type of game in that way that was able to still have those difficult instances and difficult challenges throughout the playthrough, but it's also catering to that crowd that may not be a crazy Dark Souls player or be a crazy Bloodborne player at that point, and like is cool to have that just more action game based gameplay that isn't gonna really make you throw a controller across the wall.
Like hack and
you know what I'm
slash.
saying? So yeah. Indeed.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So personally, I've never played this game. I haven't, not really super familiar. But
Interesting.
as I understand it, there is another one coming out very soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What about this game would you like most hope that game improves upon? If you
Okay.
could like choose anything,
Good
I
question.
guess.
Yeah, I'd say it's gonna be the negative things that we've said here already that were in my presentation, and one that Christian brought up, right? Enemy variety, I feel like definitely needs to be stepped up, right? My specific angle on the enemies is that I feel like there needs to be more diverse bosses. Like Omar knows, you know what I'm saying? God War 2 and 3, like yo, we was doing crazy shit in those
For
games.
real.
I'm like, yo, we
That
was
Chronos
yo,
fight. Let's go.
crazy, bro, crazy.
Poseidon? Holy shit.
Bro,
Oh my God.
speak on it. You know what I'm saying? So like that I think was something that was definitely like lacking in God of War 2018. And I know Corey Barlock talks a lot about how like this game took 5 years to really build up those systems and build like a more of like a baseline for what the future could hold for this franchise, right? So I'm hoping that pays off in this game where although like I bet it will feel similar in a lot of ways to 2018 because it's a sequel. I would hope it is somewhat similar to what came before it in the first franchise, right?
Yeah.
But I am hoping that they do expand upon that enemy diversity and such. The small things I know, like the fast travel, I hope that's actually a fast travel and not like this crazy long animation to open the door, to even summon the door, then to walk through the thing. Like it's entirely too much and too cluttered. So like I would like that to happen. It'd be cool if it was just like a Bifrost thing. Like, you see Kratos like summon a fucking Bifrost for real, right? Or the menu system as well. I think the menu system is like very convoluted and just very cluttered, like not that intuitive to use at all in 2018. So that I want to be heightened as well. And I think we will see, we did see a lot of move variety in God of War 2018, but spoilers, I already said it, in the beginning of this, you only have two weapons, the axe and the blades, right? So I do assume, and do have some bold predictions that we will be able to wield more weapons, just like Kratos did back in the original games, where he was getting multiple different blades of chaos, and like even in 2 and 3, you get access to different hammers and stuff like that, and like a lot of like different things that you can use to combat with and stuff like that. Like spears as well were in the original games, so that's mainly like the few things I'd say that can definitely be elevated in Ragnarok.
Cool.
Omar, I
Do
think
you think? Sorry,
Okay.
I got you. Do you think there's a chance that like they try and I do think 2018 is probably better than the old games, even though I like those games a lot too. But like, do you think like they try and bring back that spectacle from the older stuff at some point? Like, because I miss that. I
mean,
would.
you want to hear a little juicy, spicy prediction I have, man? I think
I'll take it.
I think something is in Greece, and we're going back,
Oh shit!
and it's gonna be that perspective.
I'm gonna shit
you know.
myself.
That's
That'd be
ballsy.
cool.
That's ballsy. I don't know, but like I
Yeah.
feel like there's something left behind, with that particular character that showed up.
Yeah. This is like
know.
Toy Story 4 when they go back to Al's toy barn.
I think I think there will be. I don't think it'll be long. I think it'll be brief, right? Maybe like in totality, like a 15-20 minute ordeal. But like I think there will be some something where we'll go back, and it may just very well be that style. We'll see. That's probably a little bit too much of a departure. I don't know, but it will be very
Well,
cool.
if it doesn't happen, I'm coming for you now. So
But if it does, that'd be fucking lit.
I will send you $5 in
That'd be
PayPal.
fucking lit.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I will owe you $5. All right.
Okay.
On the record.
Thank you.
One quick yes or no question.
Yes, sir.
Is this game better than the God of War game you brought already?
Yes.
Okay.
And he hasn't brought 3 yet though, so don't worry.
2 is better than 3. Let's not.
Oh,
front.
dude, I don't know.
Come on.
All right. Any other questions for Kevin?
Kings of Olympus.
3 is real.
Any other questions for
Even
Kevin?
he agrees. No, I'm good.
All right. Well, he's not here for the applause, but good job, Kevin.
Good job, Kevin. That was
Good
awesome.
job, Kevin.
You could hear the applause, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Very good.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
I think my dogs think God of War 3 is better. I don't know. Maybe.
You know,
Maybe they do.
They're
I
more
don't know.
they're more
Two in a
God of
lot
War
of
and
ways.
PSP kind of guys.
They are definitely PSP kind of folk. Yeah. They definitely pitch into Olympus.
All right. The wheel has been spun. Next up, Omar.
All right, I don't know how this is gonna work. I'm just gonna play the video and hopefully it's gonna be fine.
Okay.
So I'm gonna share my screen. You know what? I'm gonna actually black out my camera too because I don't want you guys to see me during this video.
Okay.
So hopefully, oh, well, there we go. That's black, and then I guess I'm going to share my. Oh, this is a 4-minute video, so there'll be 2 minutes afterwards, or I might need to talk about the game.
Okay. So do you want me to start the timer when the video starts, or?
If you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm also in favor of Omar getting 1 bonus minute.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I'm gonna now start sharing my screen. Sorry.
Okay. I'll let you know
And
when
then-
everything looks good on my end, also.
Sure. And then I'm going to full screen this. I'm just gonna start playing. Is that cool?
Okay.
I'll put the volume.
Oh, I see it's black.
Yeah. I'll see
Yeah,
it's black.
it's a black screen right now, but
Okay.
it should. Can you see my cursor and stuff? I don't know.
No, I think it'll just show the window. No.
All right. Well,
other-
hopefully it works. Just let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna start playing. Is that cool?
Yeah, I will start the timer when your video
Oh.
starts.
And you can't hear yourself through my feed, right?
No.
No.
Okay, cool. All right, here I go. Can you tell us a little bit about Le Mans 2006? You want to talk about Le Mans 06? Sure, of course, yes. Very well. I love telling this story.
Oh.
Le Mans is the greatest race in the world. It is the one everyone wants to do. It's a hell of a race though. It's 24 hours through a lot of France, and it's a whole lot, but it's beautiful. It's something I hope everyone gets to do at some point. Yes, and so this is my first Le Mans, and I was very, very excited. But I actually did not know I was going to be in it until very, very short notice. I got the call about maybe 12 hours before the race would even start. I got the call at maybe 10 p.m. the previous night that hey, the race, we need a new racer. Our guy is out and we need someone else. And I said, okay, I will happily come along and race for you. I will. And you know, so I get on the first flight, and the first flight I could, and I think I get there at 3 a.m. and the race is about to start at 10 a.m. and I don't know what to do. I got my preparations right. I'm going to use the company car. I'd never driven it before, and I needed to, you know, it's a 24-hour race, right? So you need to make sure you have your bases covered while in the car. So I went to the corner store and I grabbed about a 6-pack of water bottles, and I just started dumping them all out because I know I will need the bottles later, but not necessarily the water. And yeah, I saved 2 of them. I saved 2 because I might need to drink on something in the car. But yeah, I dumped that because I assumed I'd be using them to piss in later, you know, the piss and shit. They all do it in Le Mans. It's a 24-hour race, right? You have to piss somewhere, and so yeah, so I get all my preparations ready and I get to the track at 10 a.m. I see who I'm up against, and these guys are legends, you know. You have the Frenchman, the Dutchman. You have fucking Matt Grossman, the American. You know, I see that guy, I get scared. You know, I know the reputation there. I can't deal with that. And yes, but I put my nerves aside. I know that I have my car. I'm comfortable. I have my water bottles. I should be fine. I race. And you know, when I start racing, I forget everything. You know, my wife, my children, my bills. It's the best feeling in the world. I love it so much. And you know, I'm damn good at it. You know, they don't call me the best for nothing. So I'm already in that top 3. I'm only behind Matt Grossman. I'm number 2. And me and Matt Grossman, we traded blows for about 23 hours, just going back and forth and back and forth. I want to win. I know I want to win, and I cannot let this American have it, you know?
So I start getting nasty, and I completely forget about, you know, all the piss and shit bottles I have. I just start pissing and shitting myself just on the seat at this point, because I forget everything. I just need to beat Matt. That is all I care about. And so I try and go as fast as I can, but his car just seems like it's just slightly ever so faster, and I don't know what to do. And so I panic, and this is where, yes, I slam my car into Matt, and I kill him, which is a legal thing to do in France, and I win the race.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes.
All
Yes, we
right.
can.
You have 2 minutes.
Hello. I brought Gran Turismo 3, which is the game that I was thinking about a lot when I won Le Mans. And sorry, my accent fell. I don't know what happened. I guess it must be I've adjusted to America's atmosphere. But it's a great game, great racing game. It's got great sounds, great sights, great gameplay. It was the first game I had on the PS2. That's really all I have. Any questions?
That was absolutely delightful.
You got another minute
that's
20 if you need it.
I don't think I'm out.
Okay.
Did you get the jumpsuit before this presentation, or specifically for this?
I got it like a couple weeks ago at a thrift store, and I just wear it around the house now. It was,
That's
it was
okay.
$60. Yeah.
Are you a fan of
What
the
was-
French?
Of what?
The French?
Yeah, I think the French are cool.
French fries, right?
Yeah, they're actually Belgian.
What was your final time in Le Mans
Le
2006?
Mans? Oh,
Yeah.
well, you know, it's a 24-hour race, but I got there 10 minutes before. I don't know shit about Le Mans. I saw Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, man. He said I got there 10 minutes before. I'm done. Oh man. So like I bought Gran Turismo. I haven't played it yet. You know what I'm
7?
saying? But yeah, 7. Yes.
Fuck 7. It's no good.
Oh,
3's alright
it's
though.
not- okay, so tell me, like, you know, from a whole franchise standpoint, why 3 is the
Well,
why
Gran
3 is the
Turismo
one?
3. Maybe I will kick in my extra minute now, Christian.
Sure.
Gran Turismo 3
We're free time
is-
now. We're free time.
All right. Well, is the perfect. It was the, you know, it was the third one in the series,
Indeed.
but it was this was the last one I think where it was all about it was a good mix between arcade and sim still. Like it was an approachable sim racer, and it had a whole lot of content, and it was very easy for my I don't know, like 6-year-old brain to understand. Whereas the later entries, like 4 and 5, they got really more into the sim aspects and the whole like market stuff that I didn't get at all. I just wanted to drive the fast cars. And this one had a full-fledged campaign, and seeing the courses brought over from the PS1 generation, and the PS2 stuff was great. And honestly, I think it has the best soundtrack, which is really important for me in games like this. Sounds awesome.
Okay. Very good. Very good stuff. I do have one follow up if you want. Like,
Sure.
so just really quickly. So in the GT crowd, right? Is 3 amongst the top of the
I think-
unanimous list, if you will? Is it like the
I
God
think
of War
3's the
2018, if
favorite.
you will, of the God of War franchise? It is a favorite.
Totally. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Bet. Good to know.
I heard like with Gran Turismo 7, new staff they hired were like showing everyone else like, hey, we love Gran Turismo 3. Can we make one like that one again? And they tried to listen. Gran Turismo 7 is like, it's not bad, but they have some weird stuff around it that is kind of boring. But
Interesting.
I can't believe they just had this at a thrift store. This suit, what
No,
was it
that's-
doing
that's
there?
quite
You think
impressive.
it's real? It looks real.
Does it have the pants too?
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah,
That's
I'm
a full, like-
suited up.
Oh my god.
He's
cool.
ready to go.
Yeah, I
He's
don't
ready
know.
to go. He's ready to whip his 2006 Civic, yo.
Oh yeah,
Ready to
I
go.
love one of those.
Play that Need for Speed Unbound, huh? Anyone? Huh?
Yeah, I think that looks cool.
Anyone seen it? Anyone seen it?
No,
Anime.
I like anime.
Graffiti.
there's a racing game in the Hall of Game right now, Burnout Revenge, which
Yeah.
understandably is a very different type of racing game. There's always room for other things in the same genre, but do you feel that Gran Turismo 3 is like good enough of a representative for like the racing sim genre that it
I think it's the best
Could stand
racing
as
sim
one? Okay.
representative you can get. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I will admit, I know 2 cars is weird to have in the picture. But
It's not. It's not at all.
Okay, okay. This one, we could put a Subaru in there.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
I have a question.
Yes, Mike.
Did you ever play like the Forzas like from this time?
No, I didn't. Didn't have an Xbox.
Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna predicate my whole question on that, and now
Well,
that
I
you
know a
have it-
little bit about them, maybe.
You played the newer
I'm
ones too,
curious.
right?
Yeah, I started playing Forza around maybe 4 on the 360, but not the original Xbox. But
I guess like you probably played have you played the newer Gran Turismo games then?
yes,
Like-
I have.
All right. So then, like, just on a general level, like, what do you like better about Gran Turismo than like Forza, or is that even like a true statement to begin with?
Well, honestly, I think it's well, I like this Gran Turismo a lot more than newer ones for a couple reasons. There's some gameplay stuff they've done made it too more simmy, but also it's nice playing a PS2 game where it's just like there's no DLC, there's no games as a service stuff. All the game is there, which I really like and enjoy. And in terms of enjoying this over Forza, I enjoy the feel of Gran Turismo more than Forza, but that's pretty subjective to people. But yeah, I think Gran Turismo to me feels like they slightly care about the cars. Not slightly, they really care about the cars when they make Gran Turismo. Forza they do too, but Gran Turismo, I don't know. I almost feel like they're weird about it. You know what I mean?
No, it's like a yeah.
It's like a love thing.
It's a little bit
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit sexual, if I may. You know.
I tried to with the video. I tried to like if you ever see a Gran Turismo intro, it's very serious and like about like the world. Like the opening of Gran Turismo 7 mentions the coronavirus pandemic. Like they're like this is
does?
bad. Yeah, it's crazy.
Holy shit.
I tried to do a little bit of that or with the video. I suppose it made it too serious. It's like a lot of like live action footage, but in Gran Turismo games. But yeah, I don't know. Thanks for letting me talk about Gran Turismo.
Of course.
I gotta take off this suit because it's too hot. Any last questions? We good?
Any other questions? Does it still look nice? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Okay.
60 frames.
Another big showpieces, and like even
Yeah.
like the PS3 ones like hold up because like they were like super ahead of everything else. So
This game looks so good. The PS3 version used some cars from this game,
Oh,
the same
okay.
models,
okay.
and it was a
We
big
love-
deal. People got mad about it.
We love 60 frames. Yes, we do.
We sure do.
Yes, we do.
Analog
If-
triggers
Mm.
or buttons. Facebook.
If you were to race, what car would you use, sir?
What car?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I don't know. I like I really want a Civic to be honest.
I like them Civics, bro. The
Yeah.
Type R's, bro. You get the hatchback
Yeah.
on that Type R, man. Yes, sir.
That'd be
You
sweet.
get the roll cage. Listen, man, you set. You're
Wow.
all good.
I'm a car guy and you're talking my language.
I know a thing or two. I
Yeah.
love when that. I love when the exhaust growls.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I
you
love
get
the
that
shift,
purr,
the
though. Yeah, you know, you ever put that hole in neutral and it goes crazy.
Yeah. Sometimes I put it in reverse.
Mm. Perhaps we need to do a car podcast in the future. Perhaps.
Maybe.
right.
Any last
Leave us be that-
questions?
Leave us be unbound.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions
Alright.
for Omar?
I think we're good. I'm
All
just
right.
gonna call it.
Great
No
job.
more questions. You've lost your privilege. Bye. I'm gonna take off the seat. I'll be right back.
Okay. So the wheel has been spun. Jackie may begin preparing for when Omar returns.
Oh, very cool.
So
Omar can not hear me, I imagine.
yeah, just like if you gotta prep your slides or anything, take care of that, and we can
Okay.
take a little breather. Anybody need a bathroom break,
All right.
beverage break, anything?
I'm back.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
That was
it
a-
it
that was
just
a hot
goes
swap.
over it. It's pretty cool.
I see. I see.
Who's presenting?
This is Jack.
Jack?
Okay.
Cool.
This is me. Don't look yet.
Oh, I'm not looking. I'm not looking.
Oh,
Can you
Sorry, I
see
clicked on the stream
this?
already. Okay, perfect. Nobody saw anything.
Is it all okay?
Yes, everything looks good.
Oh, whoops.
Um,
My screen went off. Okay. Everything's okay.
yes, everything is okay. For time warnings, what do you want? Like what Kevin had, 3 minutes and 1 minute, or what are you thinking?
Sure, you can do that. I don't think I'll hit the time. This
You
should
got
be
it.
short.
Alright,
But
I'll
yeah,
start when
can
you
do
go.
that. All right. Yep, I'll start now. So, October of 2022, JoyClicks Hall of Game. Before I begin, I would like to note that my entry is more than just the game itself. I think it's worthy to enter the hall on its merits alone, but I think it's important to highlight that it means more than just simply the game entering the hall. It represents a sport, a lifestyle, and perhaps, in my opinion, one of the most important figures in human history. It's Tony Hawk's Underground. So this game was the first game that deviated from the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater model. They made 4 of them, and then they made Tony Hawk's Underground. And it was definitely different from that template. You could get off your board, which is very important. Was it great? No. However, it was cool to adjust yourself and get into like different positions rather than just skating around haphazardly trying to like do a line or whatever. You can like sort of adjust yourself, and it helped you with combos and stuff. So like if you wanted to keep your combo going, your score meter going, you could get off your board for like 5 seconds and continue on. So that was cool. But I think most importantly, this game featured a front to back story rather than just a series of places you could visit and do a series of tasks. Though obviously you still did that in the game. That was sort of the main way you progressed, but there was a through line to it, which is really cool. It's you like starting in New Jersey as a skater, and progressing away through like different like amateur competitions into eventually pro competition. So it was really nice feature. It's also pretty cool. Like I said, you start in New Jersey. At a certain point, you get to choose what skating team you get to join, and all the pros like give you like these intro videos into what team you want to join. They're like 30-second to a minute, like why you should join this team, and it's really fun. It doesn't really amount to too much. So there's like a different color change of your HUD when you join a team, but it's really cool to have that option of following a particular pro. And of course, if you know this game, you know Eric Sparrow, who I think is one of the great villains in video game history, constantly taking credit for the things you do. So again, I think adding the story makes the game feel a little bit more cohesive than just sort of going around to different locations. I also think it has some really notable environments and locations. A lot of them are still sort of imprinted in my brain, and I think one of the coolest moments in any skating games is doing a McTwist over a helicopter between buildings in Hawaii. I don't really think you can get much better than that. It's also a secret kiss level at the end of the game after you like collect all the tapes. Completely random. I tried to find out why that's in the game, but I don't know why. The band Kiss is in the game. They have a concert that you could attend. It is really cool. Also has a really cool soundtrack, and you could say this probably about any Tony Hawk game, but I think it's definitely worth mentioning here for sure. One of the best parts of this, like when you start the game, is you'll see this music video of like actual real world skating with Jurassic 5's A Day of the Races. So it's just a really good set piece to start the game, and also has a really good mix of different genres of music. Also important to recognize that I think skating in video games, like more so than any other sport, are very much intertwined. Like the Tony Hawk video games definitely helped popularize skating in the 90s and 2000s. Certainly the case with pro skater games, but I think this is especially true with Tony Hawk's Underground, as real life pro skaters had pretty prominent roles as cast members of the game. Like they had like voice lines, and you can like interact with them and things like that throughout the game, throughout the story. And it definitely helped popularize skaters and skating companies like Birdhouse and Element. So, fellas, I think we should do it for Tony. He deserves to be in the game for using his name and the sport as a venue for amazing video games. And I think Thug in particular is most deserving of this, thanks to its fun story, memorable set pieces, and solid mechanics. So that is my presentation.
Woo!
Very nice. Got a
Good
minute and a
job.
half remaining. If you have any final words,
I'm good.
Cool.
That dude kind of looked like Tony Hawk at the end. You know, I wasn't sure if it was.
I
wasn't
was
sure it was
thinking
him.
about nominating Tony Hawk's Existential Crisis, but I opted
Mm,
for this.
mm, mm, mm.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Can you play as Darth Maul on this one?
That's a really good question. You could play as Iron Man. I believe Darth
Fire.
Maul was in the second one or the
Yeah.
third one. There is
This one of those.
Tony Hawk.
I thought it
Yeah,
was Tony
Tony
Hawk's
Hawk-
Pro Skater 3 with Darth Maul.
I think it.
Which
I
is
think
pretty
it was Pro
good.
Skater.
It's
Yeah,
2.
Yeah, was it 2?
2 or 3.
it was a Pro
What-
Skater though. It
Whichever
wasn't
one
a thug game.
came out around Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It
it
was
wasn't in this
3.
game, but
Uh,
yeah.
Don't worry,
3,
Mike.
okay.
You voted for me. I remember that. We're cool.
There you could play as Gene Simmons from Kiss. You could play as Iron Man. I'm trying to remember who else you could play, but like just completely random characters that I don't
Bam
know why they're in
Margera.
there. Yeah, Bam. Well, you could play as like a bunch of pros. Bam Margera for sure was in there.
I assume you've played Thug 2.
Yes.
Okay. I have very little experience with the original Thug. I have a lot of time in Thug 2. Is there anything that you feel Thug 1 does better than Thug 2 / why Thug 1 over Thug 2, in your opinion?
Yeah. I really like Tony Hawk's Underground 2. I think it's much more over the top and zany in its story because I believe, if I recall correctly, you're on a world tour of skating and you do like these wacky, ridiculous things. Like I think in Boston you light a cannon that goes off through like one of the old
Yeah.
ships in the harbor. So that's just like an example. It gets really silly. It does not age very well in its story with like a certain few characters. But I think for Tony Hawk's Underground, like had a much more like centered story on like an actual character rather than like cartoon characters. But mechanically they're pretty similar. So I think mostly it's the story for me.
If Thug were to be remade in a similar like 1+2 Pro Skater and everything, like, excuse my dog in the background. Do you think that there would be a similar like acclaim that we saw with Pro Skater?
Oh yeah, I do. Again, I think with Tony Hawk's Underground 2, there'd be a conversation about stories, but I think with Tony Hawk's Underground, and what we saw with the remakes of 1 and 2, it was pretty much 1-to-1. Like the mechanics were pretty much exactly the same because they didn't really need to change. I think they changed it and added a revert, but it was pretty much the same. It was just like a graphical overhaul, and I think it'd be very similar here. You probably need to get like new voice actors maybe, or just I don't know how they would do that, but yes, I definitely think so. And I was very much waiting for Underground to get the remake treatment, but I don't know if we'll see that, unfortunately, with the way that Vicarious Visions is being handled. So it's a little sad, but maybe we will get it, and I'm there day one.
Uncle Phil could bring that. Who knows? Who knows, right? Ain't that right, fellas? Uncle Phil, right?
You said getting off the board sucks. It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not fantastic. However, you can do cool new tricks like a caveman, for example. You can position yourself a lot better than you could in the old Tony Hawk Pro Skater games because you'd have to like slow down a little bit and then like sort of maneuver. But with getting off the board, you can put yourself up in a better spot to like start a new line and things like that. So it was kind of gimmicky, but it worked out for the most part. And the game doesn't have you off the board too much because it is a skating game after all. So it's not like anything too egregious.
Do you think this game is like, because I'm super familiar with Pro Skater and not Underground. Do you think this is like a good? Do you think they developed on like the arcade style of like Pro Skater in this game? Is it similar to that in any ways? And if not, like, do you think that it's a good evolution of that?
Yeah, I think the formula set up in Pro Skater was consistent up until the remake of 1 and 2. I don't think that's really changed too much. Like, you're gonna do like combos, and you're gonna like keep getting your score meter up, and that continues in this game too. So it wasn't changed too much because I don't think it really needed to change too much. A lot of the updates here were like story wise again, and different like locations and locales and things like that.
Is there a super iconic map for this game that you think lives up to the hype of it? Because you know, like all the other ones, like they have their introductory levels, but there's some really big, beloved maps for like each Tony Hawk game. Like, is there one that stands out for you?
Yeah, I think it's I forget the name of it, but it's the secret kiss level at the end. Because like they're performing a concert there, you can watch. You're like in the desert, and you can like drive cars around there and like go off jumps and things like that. So it's completely random. I think a lot of Tony Hawk games have stuff like that, and that's definitely one of them. But like I said, I think the set piece where you do a McTwist over a helicopter is pretty unforgettable. And Hawaii is a pretty sweet level.
I've never been to Boston. Do you think like this provides a very great, look
So-
into the Boston architecture? I didn't know there were boats in the harbor that were from a
Well,
century past. Is that what
yes.
I understand correctly?
So
Eh,
Boston's not
quite
in this game; it's in Underground 2.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
see, okay, I see. Oh, my apologies. My bad.
All good.
Oh wait, you said this takes in New Jersey. New Jersey.
You start in
New
New Jersey,
Jersey. Okay. Is the Jersey Shore in this game? Of course, not the
No,
cast,
it's-
perhaps, but
It's typical New Jersey of just being gross, and
Interesting.
disgusting.
see, because I'm inclined to vote. Like I feel like I have to vote against Jersey, right? But I may
That's
make
fair.
an exception. We'll see.
I won't
we'll
hold
see,
that
we'll see.
against you.
I may make an exception. We'll see. We'll see. Interesting. I have one. Do you think it's like I've never played a skateboarding game, so that's
Oh,
why
wow.
my so I'll have a serious one. Like, do you think that perhaps with the original, right, if it were to remain unchanged, or if there were to inevitably be like a hypothetical 1+2 remaster, right? Like, do you think Thug could be a great entry point for someone that has not ever played a skateboarding game, perhaps?
Yes, that's a good question. I do think it would be. First of all, it's again kind of not like a reboot, but they sort of finished the Pro Skater line of games, and they went on to do this one. So it's a good jumping on point. And the thing about any Tony Hawk game, Thug included, is that even like 20 years later, you can go back and play it, and it plays exactly how you remember playing, and it doesn't feel bad to play. Like the mechanics in the remake, like I was saying, were pretty much the mechanics from like decades ago, and they just sort of cleaned them up and added like some modern flourishes with like the revert and things like that. So these games have always played pretty much exactly the same, just because they kind of nailed it when they first developed the Tony Hawk games, and that's stayed consistent throughout. So yeah, I definitely think you can go back and play this. Differs from Skate in a lot of ways, which is definitely a lot more simmy, and this is more arcadey. So it's a nice like deviation from that if you're familiar with the Skate formula.
Okay.
I have an important question.
Mhm.
It's all right. Let's say you get your win, you get your victory. We put this in the Hall of Game. We get to put someone on the freaking Hall of Game poster. Is this
Right.
really the one to put Tony Hawk on, or is this more of an Eric
Mm.
moment? Is this more of a Jackass cast moment?
It could be an Eric Sparrow. I mean, we don't have a villain on the Hall of Game lineup, I don't think.
Bam
No, no.
Margera.
Bam
Put Bam-
Margera,
Put Bam on that. Yeah.
that's possible. I mean, there's several options. Something worth considering.
Interesting.
Any other questions for Jack?
Oh, I also have the game right here.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh shit!
Holy
Look at
crap.
that reveal! Look at that
Oh, God.
reveal! Oh,
I
shit.
almost didn't bring that. This belongs in a museum.
That's a thick manual.
Oh, is
God,
that
I missed
the old
those.
manual? Does it still like have that smell? That like manual
It
smell?
doesn't have a particular smell.
No?
It has all the pros here. They look like mugshots in a way,
Love that.
but pretty cool.
Interesting.
I can get a free beanie. I can get a free beanie.
You gotta mail that
I
in
think
right
that phone
now.
number is probably still active, so I'll just
Honestly, if you want, tell me your number and I'll call right now, bro. Say I won't.
sure.
Say I won't. See what happens.
All right.
Oh, we're not doing. Okay.
Are we?
You're just gonna call.
Hey,
Phil
but I was
Spencer.
waiting. I had the phone. It's okay. It's good. Maybe in post.
That's an after hours.
And our Patreon exclusive bonus show. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
You're gonna
Absolutely.
call some helpless woman who doesn't know what the hell is happening.
Yeah.
Straight up. She's gonna be like, "What?"
Yeah.
All right. Great job, Jack.
Job check.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good job, Jack.
All right, Mike, you're next.
All
Thug's definitely
right.
better than Thug too, by the way, Christian. Sorry.
Which one? What you said?
Oh shit.
Thug's definitely the right one to bring in terms of Thug games.
No, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not the one I grew up playing, but when Jack brought up some very good points, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right, because I remember exactly who you're talking about in that cast. So,
Yeah.
yeah, good point, Jack. All right,
Who's up next? Is it?
it is
Miguel?
Mike
Me.
next. Mike,
Oh,
you
Mike.
have the spotlight. You're front and center whenever you're ready. Do you want warnings for the time?
Sure. I don't think this is gonna take too much time, but yeah.
Okay, whenever you're good, I will start.
Okay, so I'm coming unprepared with any visual assets. No video. Omar, that was a great video. No PowerPoints. But I do have thoughts, I have logic, all that kind of stuff to bring to you today. So I'm kind of breaking the mold a little bit, I think, on the Hall of Game entries that we've put in previously, because I'm bringing a mobile game that technically didn't start out as a mobile game. That's kind of how I got my introduction to it. You can honestly find it anywhere now, but it's Game Dev Story, a simulation video game. It was developed and published by Kairosoft, which I believe is like a Japanese publisher. It has a very, very simple graphic style. I believe that they first created it back in like 1997. So it's like an old game, but like it still holds up. Basically, you are controlling a video game developer company. You're making video games and consoles to make money. It's a very simple concept, but it goes a long way. So you control a bunch of things that sort of help you or could hinder you in terms of like the quality of your games, which is like your staff, depending on like if you hire good staff, you're gonna make good games. Kind of just like simple, like basic things that are kind of obvious, but like when they're turned into these game mechanics, it makes it really fun. So some of the staff that you hire includes like coders and artists, anyone who would be involved in creating a video game. It's pretty cool because like as you progress and you earn money, your building is improved, you're allowed to hire better staff, more staff, and then just you get to create better video games and better consoles. Every single time you release a video game, you get to name it, you get to kind of choose its genre, and it gets reviewed by a bunch of like, in-game reviewers, which determine like your sales and everything like that, which it's pretty fun because you can like put your points into certain things and make your games what you want them to be. You obviously don't get to like see them or play them or anything. You just kind of get the concept behind it. But it's fun to like build it from the ground up and all that. So to me, I feel like it's really fun to micromanage like that. Like you can control like what each department of your video game company is doing. Now that I think about it, kind of an indictment on capitalism. You're working these guys to the bone, but it's still a fun game. I played it on iOS when it was first ported on there back in like 2010, and I like totally fell in love with it. It just sucks you right in. The whole game is basically played on a 40-year time scale in game.
3 minutes.
So you basically get to see the the genesis of your company and build it into something really big. It's just super fun. It has fun references to pop culture and video game culture. It's very accessible from a skill level. You kind of just like learn as you go. Every single time you play it, it's completely different. You can choose like a different strategy. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Thought that I would kind of break the mold, like I said, a little bit on what we've put into the Hall of Game and bring a more accessible sort of like just mobile game like this. I think it's really solid all the way through. It does what it has to do. It knows what it is. And yeah, that's my pitch.
Very good. Very good.
Thank
Love
you.
it. Love it. I have a question just right off the bat, honestly.
Yeah.
This is more of like a sim game, cred. Like
Yeah.
okay. So I only know my cousin who's like die hard into sim games. Like he can't get enough. Like that's his like main game as of like 2 years ago, I'd say. From Window Washer Simulator or like wait, is that the one? Power Wash. Sorry, my bad. Power Washing Simulator. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that, right? So like, is there anything specific that this game does that is something that other games in the genre aren't particularly doing at this point?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point because to me, a lot of those games like Power Washing Simulator, like Truck Simulator, like whatever.
Yeah, another
Yeah,
one. Right.
whatever the heck. Yeah, those seem like those are cool and everything. And they're like super detailed, and I really like that. Like I really like flight simulators, and I like Forza and all that kind of stuff. And I think that that's cool, and it has its place. What I think Game Dev Story does really well is that it just keeps it super simple. Like it doesn't try to like do any of this like crazy out of the box. Like you get to like seriously. To me, when I just like look at Power Wash Simulator, it just seems like there's a lot going on. There are a lot of bells and whistles, but for some reason, Game Dev Story is able to sort of trim those down, pare it down, and just present you with a game experience that is straightforward, but also like complex in its own way. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, I don't know if that's like the most like articulate answer to that question, but like
I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, right? Like basically, like it's more of just like something that's a little bit more approachable as opposed to those like very detailed like sim games that you're on demand
exactly.
a lot and like and I bet like and hey, like I gotta give kudos to. I don't think any of us have brought a sim game.
Mike
at
brought
all.
Civ 5 once.
I did bring.
Oh,
Civ
okay.
back, yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah.
But
You know what I'm saying?
it's just him.
It's just me. I do like the simulation games. So
No, but I do it because
Yeah.
it's something that like other than like Animal Crossing and like a little bit of Cult of Land that I did that has like some sim aspects to it. Like I'm not really into that type of genre, but I know there is a huge crowd of people that love those games. Like
Yeah.
they definitely have a part of the gaming market. That it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Definitely.
Like, when were you introduced to this? Like, how long have you been playing it?
So I kind of play it on and off. Like it's just to me, it's like the perfect mobile game because like you
Yeah.
could just sort of like go back into it like whenever. It's like really low stakes in that sort of regard, and like you don't feel like you could feel really invested in it if you want to. I started playing it back in like 2010, I think, when it was ported to iOS. Like I said,
Cool.
this game, I believe, was first developed in like 1997, so it shows the longevity of it. It was recently ported to Switch too, probably like a year ago, 2 years ago. So yeah, it has a massive longevity, and I think that just speaks to the type of game that it is. So yeah, I've been playing it since about 2010.
Cool.
Did you play the
prioritize-
Switch version?
I haven't played the Switch version, no. I
What
kind of want to though. What's up, Omar?
what do you tend to prioritize? Like, marketing budget or like graphics?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, you could basically do the fun about this game and a lot of other simulation games is that each time you play it, you can sort of do a different thing. But yeah, my strategy was to like put all my money into like just like graphics and stuff, art,
Mhm.
and then also marketing, just because like it seemed to be the most winning combination.
Interesting.
Yeah. but also like there is that aspect of the game will just like randomly give you like a bad review on a game or something, and then you have to just like deal with that, and you don't make as much money as you expected, and you might lose some of your staff, and you get to go into debt. So like there is that aspect to it, which I think is really fun too. You have to be careful that you don't just like stack your games to do a certain thing.
Oh no, Christian, go ahead because
I was
you
gonna
have
say
one.
that that's similar to the question I was gonna ask, because I know in a lot of sim games, and when you brought Civ, you talked about this, but like fail states, um, like bad reviews, going into debt, can that happen like quickly? Do you know if it's like a random element to it, or is it dependent on like how you're managing resources? Like if you're being a bad studio head, like are you gonna pay for it and game over, or like how does that turn out?
Yeah, I think there is a little randomness in terms of like reviews.
Sure,
Like I
yeah.
said, I'm not exactly sure, but I do think that there is just like for any video game, you
Right.
like even the best video game is going to get a bad review, right? So
Mhm.
um, that's just like a game mechanic that they introduced. But yeah, like a lot of it, all of it is managing your resources, managing your money, making sure that you're not hiring people that you can't afford, like that kind of thing. So if you're not doing that well, then you're going to crash your own company. And that's what I mean. Like that's sort of like the learning curve of it. I think it's super accessible. You could just honestly anybody could probably pick up this game and learn it. It's just like that failing a lot until you understand the mechanics and you're able to like manipulate those to do better. So
Kevin,
Have
did you
you
still? Yeah.
yeah, like I know probably the answer is gonna be probably no, but maybe not, right? Like do you feel like you've learned anything about the games industry from a development standpoint that like you like didn't know beforehand, right? I know that's not the intent of this game per se, but is there something that maybe this game puts in your direction to make a decision on that you hadn't really thought about in development and such?
um honestly, like the game is very simple when it comes to that kind of stuff. It doesn't like get into the nitty-gritty of it, but like yeah, I mean, I think that it shows how hard it is to like do it
Mm.
well.
Yeah.
Um, and I think sometimes that gets lost a lot in like the discourse. There are still like real people behind these games that like work hard. And sometimes things just like don't work out. And it's just like a bad business model or something like that. And I think that that is what this game sort of teaches you. I don't know if that's like specific to the games industry. It really, I feel like, has, if anything, has taught me more just about business, like just managing resources. And I think that's there's some value in that too. So not exactly, but kind of would be my answer to your question.
No, definitely, definitely. I can see that. They're a healthy work balance at your studios. They're perhaps a 4-day week. You know, you
Perhaps.
know,
That'd be cool.
good stuff. Good stuff, right, guys?
Not at Mike's company, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. We gotta do it for
Night
the passion,
shifts.
all right?
I'm working those.
Yes,
I'm working them to
yes,
the
sir.
bone. I'm working them to the
Man.
bone.
Mike
Yes,
10 minutes
sir.
earlier. I love micromanaging people. Sorry.
Is this your favorite sim game, or like your favorite one to like invest time in? I know you're saying like it's pretty simple and straightforward, but like, is this one like close to your heart or anything?
I mean, yeah, it's close to my heart. I think that that would be maybe it's mostly the nostalgia factor. I don't think so. Like I said, the game does just have like incredible longevity on its own. So I think that speaks a lot to it. I mean, like I personally like I really love Civ, and I have loved Civ for a bit. So like I think that one it's just like a better game, like simulation game and everything. But this one it does its own thing, which I appreciate. And yeah, it's near and dear to my heart. So
Is this a
It
good
was-
podcast game?
Excellent.
uh
Excellent
no.
question.
I wouldn't think so, actually. Like, I feel like you might get a better run out of like Civilization if you wanted to do like a podcast on that. But like, yeah, I guess you could if you wanted to. I don't know if it would be a
Or
good
podcast,
podcast.
like listening to a podcast in the background while you're playing it. Like, is it
Yeah,
sort
not
of
like a
a turn
podcast
off?
about the game. Yeah.
Oh,
that's good,
I
that's
was
good,
like,
yeah.
I was like, okay,
Sorry.
yeah. Definitely a good podcast game. This is like a,
Cool.
you're on the train or like on a bus or like doing whatever on the toilet. Great toilet game.
Have you
Mm.
guys like Christian, Jack, Kevin? Have you like seen this game before? Any pictures of it or
I,
anything like that?
I've
I
just-
just looked it up.
Okay.
I've just heard of it. I haven't seen it. Should I see it?
I've played it
I
a little
just-
bit.
Might
just
be
think-
useful to
Oh,
look at
really?
the art
Okay.
style,
Yeah.
because I didn't know what it looked
Yeah,
like. till I
it's
checked
very simple.
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
You
it's not like Civ, but well, it's not
Freshman-
like too like that intense. I mean, but
Freshman year of high school, like we had computers, everybody was obsessed with this game. Everybody was playing it like all the
well,
time.
it actually wasn't this one. It was a clone of it because these
Oh.
guys they kept getting ripped off all the time. There's like Game Dev Tycoon or something it was called.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember, but yeah, I remember that.
Well, yeah. Clearly, they
That
were
one's not as good as
inspired.
this one. This one's sick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I recommend it, guys, if you need a mobile game. I don't know, but if you do, it's this one.
I'm gonna play it tonight, Mike. I haven't played it in so long, but
Yeah,
I
man,
forgot
I got a
about
trip
it, to be
coming
honest.
up.
It's so good.
Any other
I
questions
can't
for
believe you
Mike?
brought that.
Well done.
Yeah,
Well done.
sick.
Thank you, fellas.
Indeed.
Okay. I am last.
Don't say that.
So, how this
I have your
works...
video.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you have that prepped at the beginning and keep it on pause, I want to say a couple things before the video, because the video is only like
Sure, I got you.
a little under 5, so...
Yeah. Let me just pull up my YouTube.
Thank you.
I'm
Well,
gonna share my Chrome
Fuck you that.
browser.
Did y'all hear that?
No,
What
what
happened?
happened?
Yo, the fattest thunder. Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh no, the puppies are scared. The puppies are scared. Shh, shh, shh.
Okay. Omar, I will
Okay.
cue you when you're good to
All
go.
right. Sure.
Okay, hold on timer. All right, before the video, I would just like to say that Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is the best From Software game that exists.
Yeah, okay.
It is incredible. It is their masterpiece. They have never made a better game. There is no other action game that is
You should have seen what this guy said to me when he couldn't beat the apes 2 years ago.
better
I know.
than Sekiro.
I know. It's complete. It's complete.
This is my
revisionist
presentation
history.
time, excuse me. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Incredible game, absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Game. However, it is from 2019 and we have too many damn recent games in here, so Omar, please begin the video. Video games. For a moment, consider the medium a language. If you had to read something like this, you as the player interacting with this would do what? Move right? Yes, correct. Now when you look at this, what do you think of? Shooting, killing, action, a story game which probably fails to contextualize the weight of what the game is communicating to you with whatever narrative they slapped onto it, but you could think of anything right now. Because this image, this video game interface, is as ubiquitous as the word hello is in our language, but in this instance, it's as if the word hello was only invented 17 years ago. There was a time when the communication of action, adventure, suspense, and thrills were conveyed much differently than this familiar point of view. There's a very real world that exists where if this one game never happened, every third-person shooter looks like this. For a variety of reasons not limited to the creation of over-the-shoulder camera perspectives, today I'm here to make the case for Resident Evil 4 being one of the greatest gaming achievements of all time. Resident Evil 4 was initially released for the Nintendo GameCube as an exclusive in 2005. Compared to other titles released and the incredible hardware packed into the GameCube, it was a visual showpiece that blew away the competition graphically. RE4 began development a few times. The initial development turning into what we would see released as Devil May Cry saw Resident Evil 2 director Hideki Kamiya pass on the responsibility of developing the next-gen Resident Evil to horror mastermind Shinji Mikami. This original RE4, or Devil May Cry, continued to use the PS1 RE's fixed camera angles and tank controls, sequels. Had the Audible not been called, Resident Evil 4 would have been an iterative sequel, dooming us to every third-person shooter being, well, not what we love today. Beyond things turning up Millhouse by creating a new genre, Resident Evil 4 managed to maintain the authenticity of the series so far. Dialogue is campy, earnest, and what you would expect of your favorite B horror movie. Controls are tight, deliberate, much like the predecessors, forcing players to plant their feet and hold their ground when engaging with enemies. The over-the-shoulder perspective not only allows players the ability to aim and take down their targets faster, cranking up the pace of the game overall, it also allowed Capcom to design smarter, faster enemies. Not simple zombies, Los Illuminados. To this point, the series covered well the classic zombie fare of outbreak, survival, tough decisions. RE4 wants to make the players sweat, it wants to surprise them. And after 3 numbered games, Capcom is able to achieve this because of the affordances of the new perspective. And they could have stopped at just making these enemies stronger and faster than the shambling corpses we fought before, but they kept pushing. These were people, real people living their lives, but altered. Brainwashing, a cult, infection. You don't know, but the game shows you immediately. If you hesitate, you're dead. The narrative of RE4 is nothing earth-shattering, although it provides answers, tension, and surprises should you manage to keep on fighting. It doesn't write itself into a corner with character drama or motivation that is betrayed by what the game is. This is truthfully just a game about shooting things, and it's damn good at it. If RE4 narratively was trying to be anything more than what it would be a lesser game for it. But that's not to say there's no worth or purpose to the writing and story here. Characters butt heads, have history, but all of these reveals happen through cheesy one-liners. The real horror and tension of Resident Evil 4 doesn't rely on cutscenes to do it for it, it is strictly mechanical. Do you trust yourself to aim faster than your enemies move? Can you manage your inventory well enough? Despite this focus on fast-paced survival and removal of the series' stable save rooms, Resident Evil 4 is rooting for you and doing all it can to encourage you to keep going. For the sake of the pace and this encouragement, it's here that the choice to make a cheesy one-liner filled story sings. Calls on your Codex-style intercom with your support team or adversaries allow the rookie of Raccoon City turned FBI super agent to flex his cheesy charm, providing multiple moments to show, like Leon, there's room to breathe and you got this. Beyond the mechanical perfection of RE4 and how beautifully it meshes with the world and plot, it's generally just a fun game to play. Every Resident Evil game encourages multiple playthroughs, but RE4's pace and tone carries you from the village to the island with ease. The progression system, inventory management, and collectible system is rewarding, fostering a very strong economy, which rewards risks taken when you master this game and feel confident in your abilities, which you can also funnel into a TMP. It's a beautiful cycle that just keeps going. Resident Evil 4 not only invented the word hello for the language of action games, influencing them all to this day, it's also viewed as the best game in the franchise, only recently being debated since the Capcom Renaissance began. It is available literally everywhere and will probably be the best $10 or $20 you spend in your life. That's it.
That's such a great video, Christian.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Good stuff, man.
Beautiful. I'd be glad to see it.
I have a question,
Yes.
Christian. First of all, I played this game very recently, so I'm very biased. But a lot of people say this introduced too much action to the Resident Evil franchise. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
Personally, because I only played Resident Evil 4 for the first time in 2020, and I'm aware that's the reputation it has, but I played Resident Evil 5 and 6 after RE4, like pretty closely, and those are the games that are, damned as like leaning on what RE4 did, but like heavily more into action. And I had a really fun time with them. They're not what I love about the other Resident Evil games. I did play them co-op as well, so that might have something to do with it. But specifically with RE4, I think it's a perfect balance of action and horror because, like I said in the video, it's not really about the story that's scary. It's like the scenario and the fact that like you got somebody to look after occasionally. People move fast now compared to the other Resident Evil games before this, and it like really hammered in your inventory management more so than the earlier games. So I think it's still very much a survival horror game, and when there's moments like running away from a boulder or fighting a really big bioweapon, like I think that still feels in line with what the series has been. So I hope that answers the question.
Are you excited for the remake?
I am excited for the remake, mainly because the remakes of RE2 and 3 have leaned heavier into the drama than the cheese, from what I've experienced of revisiting the original 2 and 3 a little bit. And from RE4, what they've shown so far, none of this cheese is in there. You know, like there's probably going to be some like some quirky one-off lines, like in RE2, the remake, Leon's like, when the alligator, like the giant sewer thing, like blows up the thing, he says some stupid like one liner, but like the original's full of that. So the newer direction of Resident Evil is much more leaning into that like horror, scary, grotesque element. So I'm excited for it on that front because I think it's gonna do its own thing with it. And I love how 2 and 3 play remakes, so excited for that.
Do you like the cheese in RE4?
I do. It's pretty great. You got a little like Napoleon zombie. He's amazing. Ashley has some fun lines. The just a lot of the bosses also are just kind of like silly in terms of the way they're implemented, right? Like the Napoleon guy who is like literally maybe like 2 feet tall. He's like 500 years old, and then when you go into his boss encounter to actually fight him, like his torso becomes like 10 times as large. Like he goes Grinch mode and just like expands into this room, and it's a ridiculous boss fight, but it's very fun and is I think representative of what the whole game is. You know, it's like cheesy on the surface, but when you actually get into it, it's like this fucking rules. So I do like the cheese.
Cool. Do you have a favorite part of the game too? Not to keep like, what's your favorite like section?
No spoilers.
It's not the
fellas.
island.
No spoilers, fellas. You know
Okay,
what I'm saying?
Vanessa.
I'm not gonna play the original, but I'm definitely playing the remake.
Sure.
for sure.
Why not play the original?
You gotta play it.
I'm gonna.
I don't
guys,
understand. You just saw that
Okay,
guy's
okay.
great presentation, and you still
No,
don't
no,
feel
I did. No,
compelled?
I'm gonna play RE4. Just
But it's not
If you're
gonna be the same
worried,
game.
I'm 99% sure
You know what I'm
the remaster
It is on
HD
PlayStation
version is in
Plus,
60
yeah.
frames
Yeah.
also, so no sweats.
It is.
Nah, but you know,
I played it recently.
You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, what was the
It's-
question?
The remake's right there. You know.
Favorite part?
You know, favorite like location, I guess. I feel like there's always a big debate about the village versus the castle.
The village is great. It's an incredible introduction. It's one of my favorite like introductions in games. Like I've only replayed this one a couple times since I did it initially, and I will just like load into the intro if I get the itch and just do that and then move on because it's just so iconic. But the castle absolutely is my favorite part. It's so cool, and I think pretty clearly influenced a lot of Village, which I also love. But yeah, that castle, man, that castle's so good, and there's some great set pieces in there too. The giant robot thing, like all that stuff's great.
Yeah. You know those guys? They're like bugs.
Yeah, the
In the
bug
sewer?
things. Yeah, those are
God,
so cool.
those guys are scary.
The Wolverine guys. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool.
A lot of the games in Spanish. Brush up on your Spanish.
That's
What
true.
country?
Great question.
I think it's a made-up country,
Oh,
But
it's
but it's like somewhere in indistinct Europe. Like it's not anything specific.
okay.
Um,
Okay. Interesting.
I think it's
Luis
supposed
though,
to
what a
be
character.
Spain,
Luis is
kind of.
awesome.
Luis is
I'm-
cool. You know,
What's
there's
it?
one-
What's it
sorry.
supposed to be, Jack?
I think it's supposed to be like modeled after Spain, but
Spain, right? Yeah, it's probably. I mean,
it's kind of not.
that's the only problem that European Spanish country I'm aware of, as far as I'm aware. But interesting. What do you think is going to be toned down or missing from the remake that wasn't the original? Like, and I guess is that a good or a bad thing for you?
So I think what's gonna be toned down is a lot of the cheese, like I talked about. I think what's great about this one because like the cheese, I think you would lose something because I don't know how they're gonna handle saving in the remake, but Resident Evil up to this point is here's your little bubble, nothing can hurt you here. typewriter, your save, item box, all that stuff. This game does not have that. There are occasional typewriters you can find in the world, but you're completely vulnerable when you access them. So you're better off just like surviving to the end of what like the level, and then you get a freeze frame to save on. But in between that, you get a lot of the cheesy one-liners like codec calls that are like a bit of a breather. It's like, okay, this is stupid. I'm laughing at it, and I think that's going to be completely gone in the remake. And in terms of locations, like the end of this game has like one final stretch that some people hate it, some people like it. I think it's like designed really cool. It's very different from the rest of the game, but I think that's the weakest part of the game. I do think that's probably going to get cut, and the incredible like best enemy in the game is there. I think they're going to be like repurposed throughout the rest of the game probably. So I think it's going to be different. I'd probably say that if you're trying to remake Resident Evil 4, objectively, like looking at that on paper, it will be worse for it. But this game is still great, and I don't think the remake being more serious is going to affect anything, because this game is available on everything. It's on iPad. It's on Oculus VR. It's on literally everything. So no worries about losing this one, I think.
Did I play it on iPad?
No,
I don't know. I haven't played the iPad version.
The iPad version is not necessarily just support. It's like kind of a demake kind of thing. It's slightly different, I think.
I'm joking. I'm not gonna play it
I
on
know,
iPad.
but just in case anyone wasn't.
Yeah, the HD version is great. That's how I played it. I got to mess with the Wii version. That is awesome because there's like pointer controls for the shooting gallery stuff. That's really cool. But yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend the iPad version.
Noted. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Is the thing about this game, I feel, is everyone complains about like water levels and trying to remember like even what this is called, but like escort missions.
Escort, yeah.
This game is a big old escort mission. Is that bad?
I don't think so, because they use it sparingly, right? Like the majority of the game, you're going to find the president's daughter, and then when she gets kidnapped, it's like, okay, I have to find the president's daughter again, and then when she gets kidnapped again, it's like, okay, I have to find the president's daughter. So I can only think of like two prominent areas where you are actually escorting Ashley for like a decent stretch, but like I would probably say maybe only like 10% of this game's playtime is like actual escort mechanics. And I think it is okay because she's pretty intelligent, from my experience, in terms of like escorting a person, because you're already like, there's no stealth implemented here, so there's no risk of like being taken out of like, enemy didn't see me but they saw her, are we gonna go down with this? Like there's none of that stuff in here. It's more so like you can have her hide in places like the trash bins and like cabinets and stuff like that while you take out the room. So unless I'm forgetting, I do think there's only like 2, maybe 3 sequences where that happens, and it's not super long, so I don't think it takes away from what the game is overall. Again, personally, somebody might hate that. I don't know.
How about that puzzle where it's like sliding? I'm sorry, I know we're moving on, but there's like one 9-piece sliding puzzle. Remember that?
You struggle on that?
And isn't it like a 9-piece blocks, squares, and you gotta like slide them to open? It's in that room where I think maybe Ashley's doing it, and there's a bunch of knights and stuff.
Yeah, it's when you play as Ashley. That's the end of it.
That shit's hard.
It was okay. I got through it.
Okay.
Got through it pretty fast.
All right.
Oh, whoa, look at Christian. Whoa,
He's so
so
smart.
good at puzzles. Look at this.
Took me like an hour. I
Oh,
had to
look
look
at
up a
this
YouTube
shape.
video. I had to reset it.
Real quick, did you play this recently? In advance of this?
No, but I was planning on playing it in October. So the last time I played it, I think, was sometime last year. So we all set?
I think so.
We're good.
Wonderful. So voting order, how this works out. we're voting in presentation order. Individually, one at a time, spotlight. Again, a 5-point vote, a 3-point vote, and a 1-point vote. DM me, text me, game name, point value, so I can tabulate those while everybody's presenting. We will all be deafened, muted. Order, I believe, is Kevin, Omar, Jack, Mike, me. So,
Can we have a repeat of the games?
yes. So, Kevin brought God of War, the 2018 version. Jack brought Tony Hawk's Underground. I brought Resident Evil 4. Mike brought Game Dev Story. And Omar brought Gran Turismo 3. So, Kevin, you are first. Gonna spotlight you. We can all deafen. I will just take my headphones out so the stream can still hear you. But go off, say your piece, and text me. You are highlighted.
I bet did threw Christian a little bone. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I'm saying? Look, I'm sure he's gonna smile here on the camera. Let me see. Okay, maybe not. But you know what I'm saying? Just do him a little bone. Thought you had a good presentation, and I've heard a lot of things about RE4, so that definitely should be something that should be on the Hall of Game for sure. Third place, Gran Turismo 3. I do know that the GT series is very, very well acclaimed. You know what I'm saying? So I figured, we haven't had the GT be brought to the Hall of Game yet, so I feel like GT3 should be the one that ends up here inevitably. And then I threw Game Dev Story as the last one, you know what I'm saying, by my boy Mike, you know what I'm saying. I just gotta give kudos to the out there pick, not the run of the mill popular well acclaimed games, you know what I'm saying, out there on the market. And I feel like, for it being a somewhat niche genre, even though a lot of people love simulation games, like for it to be on a topic that, is a little niche from the overall population, that being like a development standpoint of games and stuff like that. So figured, that was a good one. I do shout out my boy Jack, you know what I'm saying? I just couldn't have any real love or any sort of affinity towards Tony Hawk, but shout out to Jack as well. So that was my what am I trying to say? My picks. I'm gonna throw it to someone else. So
Is that Omar? I think I was second. Hello. I gave 5 points to Resident Evil 4 because that's honestly maybe the greatest game ever made. I love that game so much. I didn't think Christian would bring that one if he was bring Resident Evil, but he surprised me. But yeah, totally best Resident Evil game, best game ever made. I don't care. Then 3, I give it Game Dev Story. That's also one of my favorite games of all time, to be honest. I can't believe Mike brought that. That game is so good. I would have given it 5 if Resident Evil 4 wasn't here. I'm sorry, Mike, but wow, Game Dev Story. Fuck yeah, let's go. And then I gave 1 to Thug. Look, I think Pro Skater is better, but Thug is the least offensive. One of the more. It's a good one to bring. I'm so glad you brought that over Thug 2. I think we dodged a bullet. But yeah, that's what I got. I'm set. So I'll get I don't know. Muting.
All right, I think I'm good. I'll tell you what right now. Don't know how people are voting, but bad time to bring Tony Hawk's Underground because this is quite the list of games. So that's not getting in. But here's how I'm voting. It's very difficult because I want to give points to every game, but I can't do that. So I really want to give Omar all the points, but I can't. I'm going to give 1 point to Game Dev Story. I think that's a really interesting addition to the list, and I think that'd be cool to have in the hall. So that's my number 1. But I'm giving 2 other games higher points because they're really good, and they're real good, and I've played them. God of War, I'm giving 3 points. It's a masterpiece. I do agree with Kevin. I think it's the best PS4 game, so I'm giving it that. I was probably going to give it 5 points until Christian brought Resident Evil 4. Played that again recently. I played both of those games again recently. So I have a pretty good perspective on them, I think, for voting. And I think RE4 is like one of the greatest games of all time. So I'm going to put RE4 at the 5 spot. So again, RE4 5, God of War 3, Game Dev Story 1. And I'm sending that to Christian. I'm going to deafen myself.
Okay. So it's my turn. We got God of War 2018, Tony Hawk's Underground, Resident Evil 4, and Gran Turismo 3. Everybody had great presentations. I thought Omar's was very funny. Christian's was very comprehensive. Jack's was obviously there's a lot of passion behind it. And Kevin had some good points for God of War 2018. Just thinking about all of these right now. I think I'm going to give first place most votes to Tony Hawk's Underground. Just because I think that's really a great game. Then I'm thinking Resident Evil 4 got 3 votes. Second place with the second to most votes. And Gran Turismo 3 with 1. So that's going to be me.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I have struggled. I know what I'm voting for. I know the games I'm voting for, but I'm torn between my 5 and my 3. I first up think great presentations. Everybody brought it. Everybody crushed it. God of War, Thug, RE4 can't vote for. Game Dev Story, and Gran Turismo 3. So here's what I'm thinking. I feel like God of War probably has it, so I'm not gonna vote for God of War. God of War probably has enough votes. I was trying to weigh some pros and cons with everything else because between Tony Hawk's Underground, Game Dev Story, and Gran Turismo 3, my problem is Thug 1. I have no experience with. Jack made a very good point. I feel like I can never bring Thug 2 now. I shouldn't bring Thug 2. And Pro Skater 1 plus 2, the remake, really made me fall in love with that more classic style. Like, straight up, still a little silly, but like straight up Tony Hawk, where as a youth, Thug 2 was funny, and that's why I liked it, and the skateboarding was great. So I think we need a goddamn Tony Hawk game in the Hall of Game. So I'm leaning towards giving that my 5. So then for Game Dev Story and Gran Turismo 3. Gran Turismo 3, I respect the choice. I respect it. I think there is plenty of room for other car games. Omar's presentation was hilarious. It was the best video that I've seen all week. My only holdup is I don't really feel that I know much more about GT3 now that I did before that presentation, despite it being incredible. So I want to award it at least for a good presentation, like a creative presentation and a creative pick. So I have that sitting at 1. So Game Dev Story, Mike crushed it. I think we need to reward more games like this. So that's what I'm torn on for Tony Hawk and Game Dev Story. Mike put a lot of heart into that. He was... am I crazy to give it a 5 over Tony Hawk? Mike did not have a PowerPoint. Mike had nothing. He spoke from the heart. That game is super cool. I feel like we need to acknowledge a game like this. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do 5 to Game Dev Story. Talking through it helped. I was sitting here like I had no idea what I was going to do. I was trying to make notes and it was not working. 5 to Game Dev Story. 3 to Thug. And then 1 to GT3. Again, Kevin did a great job with God of War. I love that game. However, I feel like it is going to win no matter what because it's fucking God of War. One of the best games ever made. Other people couldn't give it points for that. But for the Hog, for what's in there, for what's not in there. Thug, Game Dev Story, and Gran Turismo 3. I think those are great picks, great presentations. So. Are we all here?
Indeed.
Okay.
The dogs are freaking out. There's a dust storm. I see
no.
the dust wall coming my way through the window in the kitchen. I see it coming.
Oh Lord.
What do they? You tweeted about it. I've never heard the term before. What do they call like the dust bowls or dust
A boob?
balls? Yeah, that was
A boobs.
crazy.
Yeah, a boob,
I never
yeah.
heard about that.
Yeah.
Just like how you
They're-
never heard of prom. I never heard of
They're,
haboob.
they're like they're like a lot bigger in like Middle Eastern countries and stuff like that, and like we
I
have
see.
like kind of tiny ones, but they are still haboobs. It's like
Cool.
tiny dust walls that encapsulate the city. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It sounds
Wow.
scary to be honest. I didn't mean to make light of it.
Yeah, I
Have you
mean, like
seen
if you're
Mission Impossible
inside, like it's
4?
pretty harmless, huh?
Oh, okay. Have you,
Yeah,
Mission
like-
Impossible 4 has a big dust bowl scene. I think.
Oh, I
Dust
bet.
storm. Yeah.
Is that what it is? Mission Impossible 4?
I think so.
I've never seen any of
Ghost
them.
Protocol. All right.
Ghosts.
You guys should watch them before the new ones come out. They're gonna be so
I
sick.
confused those middle ones.
Oh, really?
I know they're all great, but I'm like, is that the one with the Burj Khalifa?
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe so.
Yes, that is. Yes, that is a boob. Yes, probably looks a little bit more dramatic in the scene itself, but
Makes
you know,
sense.
yeah.
Which one does he base jump in?
Base jump. Oh,
Does he?
That's Fallout. That's when he's falling out of the helicopter, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You know he fell out of that helicopter 106 times.
No
That's
way.
wild.
Yeah, and then they made that shot out of three jumps.
He's the best to
So-
ever do it.
I know.
So, Omar,
Yeah.
in the chat, that's a real one that happened in Phoenix in 2012. That was like
Holy
the biggest
shit.
one we've had. Yeah, no, that shit was wild.
Did it do damage?
That
and
was
stuff?
crazy, huh?
Did it do damage?
Not necessarily. I don't think so. I don't think
Okay,
so.
okay.
Like everything just gets dusty, and like you don't want to be driving in that either. Like you're meant to stop and turn off all your lights,
Nice.
you know, and just wait it out. But yeah.
How long does it last? You would say. Not to give you all these questions.
Probably like a 15-20 minute thing, maybe. Just everything just goes dark and it looks kind of weird, like
That's
Dark.
freaky.
dark red, brown type thing. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Wow.
And the puppies get scared. So this is why Kobe's here.
I'm adding a
Speaking of
point of
Mission
dice together. I
Impossible,
was just making sure we had
uh,
everything.
I saw the first hour again of Top Gun Maverick on the flight. I had tears. I was
That's a crazy one to
Why?
watch on a plane.
God
Tom Cruise would be
damn,
so
man.
mad.
it's how he's intended. I know it was. I know
Yeah.
it's how he intended. But whew, man, that first hour, man.
Oh
that,
my god,
God damn, what a film, man. What a
That-
film.
that
What a
first
film.
flight where he just pushes the limit. Oh my god,
Dude.
you don't think you can go
Ah.
that fast, but you can go that fast.
He can go faster than that.
Oh
man.
my-
He can
oh
go
my God.
faster. He can go faster, bro. He went faster. Shit was insane. What a film. What a film.
Good.
What cinema? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm
God damn.
He's not doing it for himself. He's doing it for the rest of us.
True.
I feel like
Selfless, man.
I know he'd be doing his own stunts, but like, is that? I don't know if it's a
Plane?
Blackbird, right?
No, he's not
That
flying
can't be.
planes.
Yeah,
I don't think- yeah.
No, I mean in the jets, I think it's him for real, for real.
I'm not sure
Right?
because at some point they don't let him like some. So he flies at the last plane of the movie. You remember? That's his own plane he flies. But the other
Oh,
stuff
okay.
is clever CG tricks, I do believe. But like, yeah, because like the military, they loan out those big planes to him. There's seriously a real John Hamm there that's being like, you cannot let Tom Cruise fly our $30 million plane. Like, but he
Shout out
wants
to
to for
John
sure.
Hamm, though.
Yeah.
Shout out to John Hamm.
Shout out John Hamm.
I feel like he could be a good Batman.
John Hamm.
At least a good Bruce Wayne.
He's got the
yeah.
jaw.
At least a really good Bruce Wayne. I don't know about Batman, but maybe.
Could be.
Might be
I
a
think
little
he was
past his
in.
time.
He was in consideration. I feel for a while.
Yeah.
I remember
Mm.
a lot of people discussing that.
Him and
Very
Army
suave
Hammer.
looking gentleman. You know, suave looking gentleman. You know, yes sir, yes sir. But yeah, that I was straight up like chills. I shed a
This is
little
a-
tear. You know what I'm saying.
There's something going on with Christian right now.
Yo, he's
I'm
really confused,
I'm
man.
doubling the count and make sure everything's good.
Dude, we have a tie.
It seems like there's multiple ties.
No, I'm just.
That'd be kind of dope.
There's just a lot. One sec.
Interesting.
It's 5 points and 3 points and 1 point, right?
5,
That's the
3, and
system?
1. Yes. Everybody
okay.
texted me with 5, 3, and 1,
Okay.
Bet.
and everybody
We all
was
watched the.
yes. 5 was
Okay.
the most points. Yes.
Okay.
I haven't seen this week's Andor yet. Probably gonna do that after this, but
I gotta watch all that.
Oh, dude, Andor's pretty good, man.
That sounds good. I heard someone say it
stellar.
was like Star Wars Michael Clayton. I'm like, what?
Nah, like if there's Obi-Wan
Mhm.
and Book of Boba Fett tier of Star Wars shows so far, this is Mandalorian tier.
Let's go.
You know,
Perhaps better.
perhaps. I don't know yet, but yo, there's some Mando that's. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
let's
Mando's
just, yeah, I gotta.
Let's say
I
I
see how it
think-
all pans out, but
Okay.
Like, yeah, I still want to see how it pans out, but for me, I think this might be better than Mando.
I do
I can see it.
enjoy it at the bare minimum as much as Mando.
They film
Yeah.
outside.
That's
Yeah,
true.
let's go.
Let's
fucking go.
It's on location.
That's true.
There is
To be
that.
honest, Jack, that's the
And
only
yes-
reason I'm considering watching it.
Yeah. dude.
No, but trust you can tell. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a difference. Yes, you can indeed tell. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So the way this works, we're gonna go removing entries from the least votes to number 1. There was no tie. I think there might be a record for this one. Okay, so I'll do, when we get to the top 3, I'll do like the first one that got the most first, and then the down to what was runner up. Okay. So, last place with 3 votes. Where is it? Last place was God of War.
What?
Wait. 3
That
votes?
can't be
3
right.
points.
Points?
Yes,
Guys,
sorry,
what if we-
points. 3 points was God of War.
That's unbelievable.
That's pretty fucked up. I'll say it. No, that's pretty fucked up.
That's what
That's-
took me so long. I was like,
That's a
"Did-
shame.
I'm
Okay,
making
now I
sure.
understand. No,
That seems wrong.
that's really fucked. Wow,
Okay.
guys. Okay. And look, now that's gone for fucking ever. Great job, guys.
No, it's not.
It's
Somebody else could bring it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
Don't worry, Kevin. People on this panel just don't like Dark Souls clones. I know it.
So yeah, last place, 3
wow,
points.
that's
God of War.
pretty fucked up. That's pretty fucked up.
In 4th place with 5 points, Gran Turismo 3.
Fair. Thank you, everyone. I had to make a video.
I voted for you. By the way.
Appreciate it.
We're down to the final 3: Tony Hawk's Underground, Resident Evil 4, and Game Dev Story. So, with 18 votes, the first inductee into the Hall of Game for fall 2022 is Resident Evil 4. Thank you.
As it should be.
Yeah. You know, Jack. You know. You all know. So
Is that the record? 18
that's the
points?
record. I believe that's the record. I think 18 is the most a single game has ever been gotten. I think there were 2 times something got 17. I think, but this is the first time I remember writing 18. So I can check that later, but I think that is a new record. So that comes down to the second inductee being either Tony Hawk's Underground or Game Dev Story. So the final tally was 10-6 for this final entry, joining Resident Evil 4 in the Hall of Game with 10 votes is Game Dev Story.
Oh my god.
Well done.
Mine's got too many picks in there.
Yeah, that's another record, Mike. You're pulling away with the most inductees.
How does this happen? Is it just my passion? Is it my
Just your
passion?
passion.
That's
Okay,
It's
well,
coming
yes.
through.
And these picks are also bangers. I was so excited to see that one. to be
Yeah, that was
honest.
the most
Yeah.
diverse pick. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Do we want to go through voting? Same order.
Yes.
Uh,
I think Kevin was first.
I did. I threw you a bone, Christian. Hopefully you threw one back to me, but we'll see. Not looking too great here in the points, but I did Resident Evil 4 at 5 points. Like the great presentation. You know what I'm saying? And I do know the acclaim of Resident Evil 4, so I figure we gotta have RE4 in there if we're gonna do a Hall of Game that is reflective of some of the best games of all time. You know what I'm saying? Gran Turismo 3 is my 3 points. You know what I'm saying? Thought another great installment in the racing series, Gran Turismo, and then I gave Game Story 1 point. Just because I thought it was overall good presentation and everything. You know what I'm saying? And you intrigued me, even though I've never played anything of that ilk besides like Animal Crossing and such. And I did give major kudos and props to you, Jack. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry I couldn't throw my vote. Just figured there was a conflict of integrity. You haven't played a skating game. You know what I'm saying? But I did appreciate the effort. You know what I'm saying? So
Appreciate.
of course, sir. Of course.
Omar, I think you were next.
Yeah, I basically voted not even on presentations, just on people who brought my favorite games. And Resident Evil 4 was here, so that was 5 instant. If that wasn't here, I would have given 5 to Game Dev Story, but second, so that was 3 points. But yeah, I love both of those. And then I gave 1 to Tony Hawk Underground, which is not my Tony Hawk game of choice, if you know. But it's so much. I'm so glad you brought that over Thug 2. I think we dodged a bullet. But I guess Thug 2 can still come up at some point, though. So never mind.
So can Thug 1 and God of War. Other people can bring these
yeah.
games. That's
That's
fair
true.
game.
That's true. Both God of War and Tony Hawk's Underground. Same
Mike, you
level,
gotta bring
same
Pro
level
Skater
of-
3.
of quality and experience.
Interesting, Omar. Interesting. Okay, interesting.
It's
Please.
in the cards, possibility, right?
I thought we were on good footing, Omar, but I see there's
Oh, Kevin, look.
been a
that
clear
game's-
division. No, there's perhaps things we got to work out. Perhaps
It's just a little bit of a bogus
I don't know
game.
what's
That's
going on.
all.
But okay,
It's a little bit of a stinker.
interesting, quite interesting. Okay.
I don't mean that, Kevin. I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
All right.
Realize.
Look,
You
I'm sorry.
know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Jack, what did you how did your points shake out?
Yes, so 5 points went to Resident Evil 4. Recency bias. Even though, well, I did play God of War more recently, but
You
played that-
just did, mind you.
did.
I did
did.
hear from people that you did. Okay,
I
just
did.
want to put that
I
out there.
certainly did.
Okay.
Resident Evil 4, I think one of the greatest games of all time. Love that. 3 points, gave it to God of War. Loved it a
you.
lot.
Wow.
Very much
That's
was my
the only
number
points on the
5
board, huh?
until Resident Evil 4 came out.
Okay.
I guess I'm the only person who gave
You're
3
literally
points to
okay.
God of War.
That's quite revealing. Quite
That
revealing.
makes no sense.
Quite.
And then
revealing.
1 point
Okay.
I gave to Game Dev Story. I thought that was a very interesting choice, and has me. I think what Hall of Game does a lot for me has me interested in playing games, and I feel like Game Dev Story would be one of them good podcast games. So that was my number 1 point. This is the hardest choice I think in Hall of Games. Like I really wanted to give everyone a point, especially Omar. But sorry, Omar.
No, it's okay. I understand.
Mike,
I have to be honest. If I can just say, I kind of just used it as an excuse to make a video. And I think you guys don't know that. But I was really bored. But thank you. Yeah. Christian, sorry.
or Mike, your votes.
Oh,
So yeah, honestly, I'm pretty surprised that Game Dev Story made it in. I gave 5 points to Underground, just because I think it's a great pick. Tony Hawk, I feel like deserves to be in the Hall of Game. He deserves to have every accolade, as far as I'm concerned. One day. I gave 3 points to Resident Evil 4, just because I think that has a lot of I don't know. It's left a legacy, so I feel like for that reason it deserves to be in the Hall of Game. And then I gave a point to Gran Turismo 3, just because I love racing games. And I'm sorry, Kevin, for not giving any points to God of War.
You haven't played it, so I have no grievance with you, sir. I have no quarrel with you, my good friend. You know what I'm saying?
You had a great presentation, but
Absolutely. Thank you.
know,
I appreciate it.
this is where the dice fell. So
That's all good. I understand. If you in here, we might have to have some conversations after this, but
So,
go ahead, Christian, please. Yeah, please.
so my points.
Lay out your picks. Yeah.
I was torn between my 5 and my 3. I was going back and forth between Thug and Game Dev Story, because I agree with everybody. Tony Hawk absolutely deserves to have a game in the Hall of Game. game dev story, Mike, I thought that your presentation was excellent. It made me want to play it tonight. Having experience with this was eye-opening. An experience with a clone of this game and not realizing it was a cheap imitation of the original really like pushed it forward. Plus, I really liked your presentation. So I gave 3 points to Thug because I do think, Tony Hawk for sure. I don't have much experience, but Jack, I liked your presentation, and I am probably never going to touch Thug 2 again after tonight, after remembering some things about it.
It's pretty awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I gave my 1 point to Gran Turismo 3. Omar, the video was hilarious, but I feel like I did not know much more about Gran Turismo than I did before it.
That's very fair.
But I appreciate it. And Kevin, I thought you gave a great presentation, and I thought God of War was going to get all the 5s. So I wanted to highlight...
That's not an excuse. I'm sorry.
I wanted to highlight an indie game and a mobile game and a skateboarding game.
We'll have some words later. It's okay. It's all good.
So, I'm sorry. I don't think if I gave it 5, it would not have gotten in anyway. I'm sorry.
Y'all just hate first party.
Y'all just say
PlayStation
God of
games.
War, clearly.
No, Returnal got in last time. Returnal got in.
God of War 2 didn't get in.
Returnal got in.
Gran Turismo 3 slided.
God of War 2 didn't get in. Look at this, man.
Maybe it's a God of War problem.
Interesting.
I think if you brought God of War at first, that would have got in.
So because I had
because it also does depend on I think the night, you know.
It does.
I forget what
the
competitor was. Wasn't it the Apex time? Was that when you brought God of War 2?
Kevin brought God of War 2, the very first one. That was,
no, I thought that
Wii
was Black
Sports and
Ops.
Mario.
No, Black Ops was after God of War 2, I think.
Okay, my bad.
Black Ops was Apex, I think.
Well, there you have it. That is the Fall Hall of Game Resident Evil 4 game dev story. Fitting October. Well, yeah, for one of those. We will be back December for the final Hall of Game of the year. Everything is fair game unless you brought it before. We are going to sign off, starting with Mike. Mike, where can everybody find you? What do you want to shout out? Congratulations again.
Thank you. This is fun. Love doing it. Follow me on Twitter at Mike P. Connors.
Nice. I'm everywhere at Sean2D2. YouTube.com/joyclicks is where the live stream was. I'll shout out Batman Arkham Long Play Club is back on Monday. Tune in for that. Arkham City Part 1. Thank you for watching. Thank you for voting, everybody. Jack, what about you?
Sure, you can follow me on Twitter at Fascinated Jack. Christian and I have a Marvel's Avengers podcast, but we are also talking about She-Hulk. That's a fun show. So yeah, tune in for that. We're going to have discussions on the latest episode, which features a character, so you might want to listen to it. But yeah, that's it for me.
Kevin, what about you?
You to the comments place in the source. You know what I'm saying? If you want some info on the somehow not inaugurated sequel to Hall of Game, God of War Ragnarok, it's coming hot. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to learn more about the shoulda, coulda, woulda of Hall of Game, check out PlayStation Source, of course. You know what I'm saying?
Very nice. Did you say Road 2 went up today?
Road to Ragnarok as well. Yes, of course. If you want a podcast of the sequel to the coulda, shoulda, woulda, of Hall of Game, you can check out that. You know what I'm saying? Christian, I think you should check it out. You might learn a thing or two.
It's funny you say that too, because Omar, you're next up, and we did a podcast about a game that coulda, shoulda, woulda got in the Hall of Game, didn't we?
Is that Arkham City?
No, it's Dark Souls 1.
I can't remember.
We did a Dark Souls podcast.
Whoa, shit. Yeah, we totally did do a Dark Souls. Yeah, sorry, Kevin. Look, just the way this goes. You slight us, we slight you.
I see.
Not even about
that was not what I did.
I see the lines are drawn. No, I'm
it totally is.
I'm reading the tea leaves.
Christian DM'd me earlier and said, "Yo, make sure not to vote for Kevin's."
Oh, I understand. There's some definite insider trading that will have to be investigated. Absolutely.
Yeah, the order can take care of that over the break.
People should play Dark Souls. That's all.
That's your sign off.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Check out Dark Souls on Steam. It's on Switch. It's on PS4.
Very nice.
Check it out.
All right. Well, thanks again, everybody. We will be back again early December for the final one of the year, and we will round out the Hall of Game. But until then, have a good time, play some games, play some of the games in the Hall of Game, because I'm probably gonna download Dev Story, and RE4 is timeless. So, have a good night, everybody.